And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foss and I'm touching base with you as I do all the time. Oh man, it is getting that time. This is the last day of painting. Oh, no more painting after today. Oh, they're in the bedroom right now. Well, it's one gentleman. He's a really good painter, and I am just glad that was the hardest part of this whole ordeal of changing and getting this apartment ready for the sale. But I guarantee you, for those that don't know, I'm an interior designer. And a lot of times I would do home staging for, not only do I do photography for real estate folks, I also do home staging. Sometimes I do both. I do the home staging and then I do the photography. So they say statistically, you can get 12%, around that number, 12% more for your property if you stage your apartment or home properly. Staging will help people to imagine your home as their home. Number two is the reason why I decided to paint everything white, because I know that information as an interior designer is that when you paint everything white, it allows them also to imagine if they want to paint their walls. Now, most people do not paint their walls. Most people have white walls. However, they say, we interior designers, we say, you have not really lived in your space until you add color to your wall. That's just to say. If you are in your space and you have had 12 years of white walls, you might want to add some color. But you may be leaving, you may be moving. But they say if you add color to the wall, then that means you have lived there. You are living in your space. You have taken ownership of your environment. So, but I'm reversing. I had lots of color, and now I am going back to white, black and white, with some pops of color. And so here we are. And the reason why also because I have a beautiful skyline view. And for apartments that have beautiful skyline views, the best paint on the wall is white, museum gray, museum white, no beige. No beige. Whites, white, different tones of white. Okay, anyway, there you go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, and hit the likes if you're in the building. Make sure you hit the likes. It lets the algorithms know that we are here and that we are gathered together, and we are here together. And I am so excited. Let's do some greetings. Hannah is the first person in the building. She has reclaimed her spot. She says, good morning, Ron and Touch Base Daily family. And Hannah says, working in the yard and around the pool this morning, preparing for a mini family reunion, July 4th weekend. I am tired. I've been going nonstop. Speaking of 4th of July, when I bought this apartment, one of the reasons why I bought this apartment was the 4th of July fireworks. It was one of my motivators. And years ago, they used to have the fireworks over the Brooklyn Bridge, like down at what we call the tip of Manhattan. So they used to have the fireworks down there years ago. We're talking about 30 years ago. And the fireworks used to be down there. Can't believe 30 years have gone by that fast. But then they moved it up the west side. Then people from Queens and the Bronx and Manhattan and Brooklyn were like, wait a minute. Macy's is in New York. You need to have New Yorkers looking at the fireworks. So put it into the East River where everyone in New York can see it. So they moved it up the East River. And so, but from my vantage point, I could see the fireworks from pretty much anywhere. So when I first moved here, I used to have firework parties. I used to have my friends come over. They bring their food. We hung out and we watched the Macy's fireworks. And then it got too hot. The temperature started to change. It started getting really hot. So you can only do that when you have like massive air conditioning or it's a cool day. So I stopped. And I usually use my windows to take amazing photos of the fireworks. So this year is like the universe giving me a kiss, or Macy's. Because guess what? Macy's has not been back down to the Brooklyn Bridge part of the East River since, I think, about 30 years. They may have like one ship or barge, but they're actually doing a fireworks show near the Brooklyn Bridge. So guess what? It's exactly almost, like I said, I've lived here almost 30 years. I'm going to leave this apartment, and I bought this apartment. And guess what? I am going to have the same fireworks show that I had when I first moved here. Now, how awesome is that? So I told some of my friends, if the weather is going to be cooler, meaning in the 70s, because in the 80s and 90s, it's not fun. But if the weather is in the 70s, I am going to have a 4th of July party for some of my friends. So anyway, just saying, full circle. I love when that happens. Lisa says, good, everyone. I know she meant good morning. Good morning, everyone. And Janet says, good morning, Touch Base Daily family. And Lisa says, Hannah, I have to get going. I didn't even open my pool yet, says Lisa. Mimi's in the building. She says, good morning, Ron and RLP crew. Aya says, grand rising, Ron and everyone. And I see Mimi says she's sending good vibes to Hannah. She says, what about beige? What about sad beige moms? Yes, white is your real estate color. And Bryson says, what's up, Ron? What's up, RLP fam? What's up, everybody? Happy Law and Order Thursday. One more day before the weekend. Something's buzzing outside. Lisa says, have you in the last few weeks ever thought, am I making the right decision? I've always thought about this. I think about it every day. I go, I know I'm doing the right thing. What is that humming? They got a truck outside. You see, yesterday was an attack. Everything was happening. And now it looks like it's happening again. Well, it's summertime in New York. And helicopters. I don't know if you hear all this noise. But anyway, yes, Lisa, I've thought about it. But I also remember that 30 years ago, I bought my apartment with the sole intention, SOLE, of selling it when I turned 60. It was my ROI, as they say, return on investment, that I was concerned about, and it was my retirement. So that is what I am sticking to the guns. Conditions are right for it. I have amazing possibilities at my doorstep. New adventures about to happen. It is the only way. It is the only way. I feel like that's in Star Wars, right? In one of the, this is the way. This is the way. Now, if I play lotto tomorrow or today and I won $1 million, that's all I would need, $1 million. Then I would keep the apartment, rent it out, and then continue with the plans that need to happen. So, all you prayer warriors, all you prayer warriors, I need $1 million. But yeah, but I often think about, I love my home. I love my view. I love my neighborhood. I love most of my neighbors. I love most of my neighbors. So this is a very big decision, but it is a decision that must be made. And this, as they say in Star Wars, this is the way. Mimi says, I am working on my yard and enclosed patio. I am expanding my outdoor space. Hard work, but worth it. Yes, the construction. There's nothing more taxing than construction. Oh, I forgot to send my invitations out for those that want to pop on. Let me do that real quick. Let me send it out to my team, because that's what it is. It's my team. It's not even like who's coming. They're my team. And at this point, hey, let me go there. There we go. And so Chris is not on. Chris is on I would like to say assignment. He is working on a project. So he'll be back tomorrow. And let's see. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, we'll got that. I'll get those to my two partners in crime. And there you go. There we have it. Okay, back to what I was saying. Okay, so contracting, the contractors, when they come in, it is a lot of disturbance. I had to change the whole house, flip the whole house. And I was glad that the broker said, he was like, oh, can the photographers come in on Friday? And I was like, the painting stops tomorrow on Thursday. And then I was like, nope, that cannot happen. And then he said, oh, no, I meant next Friday. I said, oh, it can happen. Because then I'll have the house staged. I am going to stage my own house, which is going to be absolutely a lot of fun because I don't usually have all the resources when I stage other people's homes. Okay. Mimi said, wow, that's awesome. I see Elise says, good morning, everyone. And Lisa says, oh, I guess I didn't get the phone call about the party. Oh, I haven't made the decision yet. Got to wait for the weather report. But Lisa, you are on the list. You did make it to the list. And you know what? I mean, if you are in New York and you are part of this community, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like the pillars of this community, the supporters, the Patreon members, all that you do here. If you're in New York, you have an invitation if I do it. Okay, you got the AC on in your house. I do not have the AC on in my house, not yet, because the AC is in my bedroom, not in the living room. I used to have an AC in the living room, but it died, and I have not replaced it, and I'm not doing it now because I'm leaving. Lisa says, I used to be able to get a day worker on the Ave to help in my yard. They are gone. I guess afraid to be picked up. Yeah, look at that. You can't get any help because people are afraid because of these ICE raids all over the country. And we also know that these ICE raids are just pathetic. Yes, they said they're going after criminals, but there are no criminals. That's why they had to rev up the numbers. Going after people, good working people, hard working people. I was thinking, I said, wait a minute. I'm sure there's some criminals in the jail system that can be deported. I was thinking, yeah, maybe they should go to the jail system if you want to deport people that should be deported, criminals of hard crimes. Well, Why? There was a footage yesterday that was, I think, went viral. A woman with her children, they were driving in their car, a white car, and ice smashed into her car. They smashed her in, and then they assaulted her and say they tried to arrest her, and they realized she had all her identification, and then they realized she was a citizen. And they damaged her car and just rode off. Something is wrong with that picture. Unbelievable. I've not gotten my South Bronx roots. I just show up, so I'll be at your party. Janet. Yes, Janet. Come on down. If I have it, come on down. It will be the last party in the building. And and bring your cameras, because there's beautiful sight lines to take some amazing photos. Okay, so if I do the party thing, you gotta, if the temperature's in the 70s, we're on. Okay, we're on, and the party will start at 7:30, 8 o'clock. Okay, there you have it. And I will send out an invitation to you. Okay, what's on the agenda today? Well. Iran and Israel are in the news. And as we said, if Trump is doing something over here and the folks are doing something over here for you to kind of like look at, then realize there's something going on over here. And what is happening is America is now saying to its people, you must get out of the Middle East. They are now prepping for war. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. News, breaking news. Let me get my news thing up here. Let me get the news up. Let me get that. Hold on a second. You know I have to give you the information. Here we go. I want you guys to be informed. Keep your eyes on what's going on. This could have major effects on what happens here in America. Okay, where are we? Let me get this all set up. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Are you guys, it's all set? Here we go.
Familiar with the situation, tell CBS News that Israel is fully ready to launch operations into Iran. They say this is part of the reason some Americans were advised to leave that region. The U.S. is anticipating Iran could retaliate on certain American sites in Iraq. Israeli officials and White House spokespeople declined to comment on this. President Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, is still planning to meet with Iran for a sixth round of talks on the country's nuclear program in the coming days. We're going to stay on top of this breaking news story.
And there you have it. So we keep an eye on that, because, again, we are, this could be very bad. A war in the Middle East can be very bad. And I don't know why Israel keeps stirring up so much mess. Netanyahu is a bad person. And instead of negotiating, instead of sitting down at the table, instead of trying to figure out how to work this out, you would think Israel would be saying, wait a minute, we already have the Middle East upset of the thousands and thousands of people that they've killed. Oops, I'm not supposed to use the kill word, right? Sorry. Unlifing of people, right, in the Middle East, right? That is a problem. Pray that there's no war. Pray that there's no war. Because if Israel strikes Iran, we're going to find out if Iran already has a nuclear weapon. We may not even know what they have. I would advise Israel not to do it. It's kind of scary, but just one more thing to be scary about, right? in the thought of things. Lisa says, prayers out to my girlfriend Amanda Lewis' son, frankly, Famiki and friends. She lost her battle with cancer. Ooh. Let's keep her in prayer and the family in prayer. Thank you, Lisa. And yeah, we have to. I just don't understand what's going on. What is going on? What's the point? What's the point? Amanda Lewis passed away as well yesterday. And speaking of passing away, there was a pray for the folks in India. There was a plane crash earlier today in New York time, and so I think it was a 787 Boeing airplane that went down. So keep them in prayer as well, our friends in India. Okay. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I want to hear what are your thoughts on Iran and Israel? What are you guys thinking? What do you think? I want to hear your voices. I want to hear your points. I want to hear what your minds are saying. What are you thinking about in this particular subject? What are you thinking about? I know one thing is that we need to make sure that we are praying. I know there's going to be a lot of photographers, photojournalists on the front lines there. It is not going to be easy for them. And so prayers are with photojournalists and journalists of both that are going to be in the Middle East while these evacuations are about to happen. And so what are you guys thinking? Any thoughts? Or did they shut me down because I said the K word? Are you guys still out there? Are you guys still out there? Hey, D Tuggle's in the building. Oh, let me put my little beta on. Let me put this thing on. Derek is in the building. What's going on, Derek? He says good morning. And but yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? The unrest in the Middle East. I know there's a whole lot going on. There's a whole lot going on. And I guess, okay, you got no opinion. No one has anything to say. Next subject is TrendWatch Thursday. For those that don't know, is TrendWatch Thursday. Okay, so the next thing is obviously what's going on in LA. And I'm so glad that all of the people are standing up. There are also a lot of folks in the entertainment world that are standing up. The police officers of the LAPD are saying, look, we did not need any of these soldiers in our city. And so that's the case as well. So again, but I love how, as you know, Jimmy Kimmel has something to say. And let's see what Jimmy Kimmel said yesterday. That was really good. And so let's put that on the screen. And here is Jimmy Kimmel.
You know what? We see here we have a full house tonight, as we always do here at our studio in Hollywood, which might be surprising for those of you in other parts of the country who have been watching cable news and believe this city is some kind of totalitarian hellscape right now. It most certainly is not. In fact, let's take a look outside because I want you to see what it's like in Hollywood right now. You won't see this elsewhere on television. Not only is it not an apocalypse, they're having a Disney Pixar movie premiere right now for Elio, a movie about aliens. Don't tell Trump, he'll send the Green Berets in too. But I just want to say thank God for President Trump and the heroes at ICE for protecting us from these bloodthirsty fruit stand vendors spreading their dangerous pineapple chunks and mangoes with a squirt of lime all over the city. We are so grateful for what you have done. I'm very angry, I have to say. I cannot believe what's going on. I knew it was going to be bad. I did not know it was going to be this bad. People who have lived here their whole lives, people who've been in this city longer than I have, the vast majority of whom have never done anything wrong or being abducted, which is the correct word to use, by agents in masks, hiding their identities, grabbing people off the street and at work, sending people to detention centers, and to protest that, which is not only our right as Americans, it's our responsibility. Los Angelinos have been gathering to demonstrate, and with very few exceptions, peacefully demonstrate, to voice their opposition to this disgusting and unnecessary abuse of power instigated by our mentally ill president, who is dead set on exacerbating this, who actually wants conflict, who is intentionally inflaming and lying to make it seem like there's a war going on here. He wants there to be a war going on here, and he doesn't care who gets hurt in it. There's a riot outside. We have more so-called unrest here when one of our teams wins a championship. But that's not what you're seeing on TV. Someone sets a fire in a garbage can, 12 camera crews go running toward it. Trump wants it to seem like anarchy, so he goes around, our governor, and he calls in 4,000 troops from the National Guard and 700 active duty Marines. You know, when we had the wildfires that devastated big chunks of our city, he did absolutely nothing. Now that we're in the middle of a non-emergency, send in the National Guard.
And Mr. President, when is
And you guys get it. So that is Jimmy Kimball's sharing about the craziness of it all. And man, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Again, January 6th happened. He did nothing. January 6th, he did nothing. And so there you have it. Just wanted to bring that to your attention, that there's nothing going on. There's nothing going on in LA other than the ICE folks trying to grab people. And then when that happens, people then rise up and say, no, you can't take them. And also, Lisa, I do remember Amanda. Am I saying is it Amanda? I thought it was Amanda. Isn't it Amanda? Amanda Lewis, and or is it Amanda? But I remember her from MTV. I remember her. Yes, that's my condolences, Lisa. And Kimmy also says, so sorry for the loss of your friend, Lisa. Yeah, that's so sad. And yeah, so let's keep her family in prayer. And all those that knew her and loved her. Okay, so there we go. Those are the news headlines. But then there is something else. Well, are you guys going out to the protest this weekend, this Saturday? I'm curious. Now, I'm still debating. Part of me says go. Some part of me says, nah, Ron, sit it out. But you know what? I think I need to go. So Saturday, I will be out. I mean, New York City, we're getting 50% chance of thunderstorms here and there, which will probably make great photos. But I also want to be out there to support. But I also want to photograph the great parts of the protests, not the media's stuff. The media is always going to focus on the bad actors. And there's always bad actors. Always bad actors. However, that's not what we should be focused on. Okay, so we'll make sure we do that. Make sure we do that. So again, if you're just popping in, today's our TrendWatch Thursday, and we're just talking what's in the headlines today. And that's what we talk about on Thursdays. Let's see here. I see here more condolences to Lisa from on the loss of your friend Anada Lewis. And everybody sending those love and condolences. And Kimmy says, be safe, Ron. I will. You know me. Remember, I gave you instructions. You know how I roll. Be on the perimeter. Don't be in the middle. Look for your ways of escape. Look for your ways. If you are going, you have not, and you don't know, what to do, all you got to do is go to my YouTube channel, right? Go to the YouTube channel, and you can look up the show from what? Tuesday, Tip Tuesday. Okay, so you can do that, Tip Tuesday. We had some good information on Tip Tuesday, and if you missed it, you may want to go back and look at it. Okay, so there you have it. There you have it. And thank you, Kimmy Kim. Yes, Mimi says, yes, Ron, perimeter. Not in the middle. You need to be able to move to the left, to the right, run if you have to. You know I am, Kimmy Kim. I am prepared. I am ready. I will be wearing my bicycle helmet. I will be wearing my bicycle helmet. I will be wearing my bicycle helmet, and I will have my harness for my camera. So in case I have to run, I will have my press badge. Yes. Okay, guys. What is next? What is next on the agenda? Well, did you guys see? Now I had time to go back and look at some of the footage. Lisa said, I can't. My anxiety of crowds said, no way. No way. She says, Janet says, Tip Tuesday is rich with information. Again, thanks, Ron. Janet, are you coming out? If you want, you can come here. You can hang out with me. You can hang out with me, Janet. If you want to. I will be at Bright. Everyone's meeting at Bryan Park. And so that is happening. And I do believe we're meeting at 11 o'clock at Bryan Park. Hold on a second. Let me just go there. Let me get the information correct. Let me make sure I get that. No Kings protests. There we go. Starts in New York. What the heck is going on? What is happening? You know, I am sometimes these AI functions on our computers are driving us crazy. Spell check. He's correcting what doesn't need to be corrected. Okay, here we go. Let me just go in New York cities. So I get the exact time. Protest planned in New York City, National No Kings Day, and they're meeting at Saturday. Where's the time? Where's the time? They have to put the time on here. Come on, y'all. Don't give me the news, AM New York, and don't give us the time. Huh, I need to go to my Instagram. Instagram's what you see, the media, I tell you, mainstream media, they fail us every time. You gotta go to your own, you gotta go to social media to get the real news for the most part, right? Okay, let me just go into my stories here. Humma. Here we go. Saved. Okay, I'm gonna post this for you guys. That way you'll have it. Okay, here we go. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. The great thing about being here is that we can go at our own pace and we can put things up as we need to. Here we go. Here we go. No Kings, June 14th at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. So it's at 2 p.m. We march from Bryan Park to Madison Square Park. That's Bryant Park to Madison Square Park. Okay, wear your sneakers, wear your anything that you don't wear stuff that you don't want to get messy in case something happens. I never wear dressy clothes. I never wear flashy anything. I usually wear dark clothing. Usually I'm in black. Usually I'm in browns. Usually I'm in blues. I do not want to stand out. I want to fit right in. No one should know that you are there. Be a fly on the wall photographers, right? Tips. There's a tip for photographers. Those that are going to be taking pictures. Try not to be, flash in the pan. Just kind of like just meld into the crowd. Meld into the crowd. Okay, do that. Make sure you do that. But that is it. So it is this Saturday, June 14th, 2 p.m. I'll see you there. And if you want to meet me, I'll let you know where I'll be. Just reach out in my DMs. Okay, reach out to me in my DMs. Lisa says, I had a volunteer for Madani, one to my door yesterday. She has been fed lies, 23 years old, and really had no idea that the mayor cannot do Oh, the can or cannot do. I felt bad for her. Yeah, there's a lot of people misinformed. There was a young lady that was on Instagram. I think it was do I have her? Hold on a second, lady. Did I save her? I didn't save her. No, I did not. She was talking about the illiteracy in America, that the majority of the population has reading and mathematical skills of a seventh grader, and that's a problem, because if you're eliminating books, if you're eliminating history, if you're eliminating science, if you're eliminating classes to educate your population, and then now you have teachers that are not going to be teaching because they're going to be leaving the country. You got people scientists that are leaving the country. You have what's called, in most dictatorships, you have what's called a brain drain. The brain drain, where people of educated status leave the country because they do not want to be in a dictatorship. So they leave and go elsewhere. They go to China and work, which China has been sending invitations to our professors. If you can't teach in America, you can come teach here in China. Or people in India. Hey, if you can't teach in America, come teach in India or Korea. If you can't teach in America, come teach in Korea. So we're going to lose a lot of our educated population in America, because they're going to leave this country and go elsewhere. But that does not serve the American public well, because with an average education score of reading and math at a 7th grade level, that means most Americans don't have the ability to do what's called basic reasoning. If you don't have information of history to build your consensus on facts, when someone tells you crap, you believe them, which, understand, a lot of MAGA is that way. Now, there's 2 types of MAGAs. They're the masses of MAGA, which are uneducated, poorly educated. You know where they are. And then there's another part of MAGA, part 2, or you would say section 2, on the bleachers, that are very educated and know exactly what they're doing, but they're usually wealthy, they're usually educated. They are playing off the uneducated people of MAGA and using them to get their ultimate goals accomplished. So there's 2 parts to MAGA. Those that are using MAGA people that are using the people that are not educated, and then those that are educated that are using them. Okay, so anyway, I think I heard footsteps. I did hear footsteps. I heard someone. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a cotton picking minute. Why is she waiting at the door and not ringing the bell? I see her through the curtains. Here she goes. I'm coming, Elise.
Good morning. Your doorbell was stuck. That's what happened.
You tell me all these contractors around here, I got a stuck bell.
Yes, it was stuck.
How you doing, my dear? My partner in crime.
Look, I'm
partner
doing
in
well.
education, I should say. Not crime. Partner in educating the public.
That's right. I'm doing well, actually. I'm doing okay. I was actually putting cakes in the oven, so that's why I was a little I had a couple of cakes to put in the oven.
Well, you know what? Oh, sorry, this is Siren. Sorry, it's a busy day in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn. But Elise, you were on to something yesterday.
What? What was that?
And people are now talking about it today.
Which part was that?
You know what it was? You know what it is?
No, I don't know.
They're saying don't go into DC.
Yeah, don't come here.
And the No Kings people said we're not doing DC.
Yeah.
Don't do DC. We are not doing DC because we don't want to. We don't add to confusion. We don't want to add to anything that would be misconstrued as being a supporters of Trump.
Right.
And then also, we don't want anyone to get in trouble or get hurt because you don't know, with all that military presence, all that situation, all what's going on there, they don't want people to be in danger. So they said DC is off limits, but go everywhere else, but do not go into DC.
And like I said, don't come here.
You said it.
Come here.
You and Jazzy said it. Y'all called. Y'all was saying it from the very beginning. No, don't come here.
No, and residents of DC, just don't go downtown. Don't go anywhere near all of that. Just stay where you are. I mean, we have some, and people don't realize, so around the Capitol there are some DC residents. Their houses right there. Their houses like down the block from the Capitol. So there are people who live there. You know, we kind of got a taste. Some of them commented during that January 6th insurrection, as they chased those people in their cars off their blocks.
Yes.
So there are lots of people who live down there. And so everything, we have Eastern Market. Eastern Market should close too. They just don't open anything up down there. If I were a restaurateur, I wouldn't even have my business open.
No, everything should be closed. Everything should be closed. They're saying do not. The warning went out this morning. Do not come to DC. Do not go to DC. There will be no kings in DC.
Yeah.
So also Lisa said, why are the police kicking out the reporters? I thought they were supposed to be able to report. They are by law, but however, as you have been noticing in the footage, these police officers and the National Guard hasn't been doing anything that I'm aware of, but the police department in LA and in Texas and a couple other places that the police were on the streets, there was one photojournalist, had his helmet on, he had his bike helmet on, but he had his press badge and he was taking pictures, and they were getting ready to rattle him up. They were going to take him to the side, and then they pushed him to the side. But then they realized, I don't know if the other one tried to say don't do it, but he stopped in his tracks so that the photojournalist could get his work in. Mm-hmm. But these people today don't care about laws. They don't care about the press. They don't care about photojournalists. They don't care about the photographers out there, which are the photojournalists. They do not care about reporters. They don't care. Yeah, they do not care.
And that's a part of this type of regime.
That's a regime.
The press. I mean, you have ABC firing journalists who do their job. You know, that's a part of the whole thing. You suppress, you try to destroy the art, education, and you suppress the press. You control the press. You know, and that was one interesting, I don't know if you've seen the clip where it was like talking to press members who were only specifically taking pictures of the violent parts.
Yes.
And they were, one woman, I think they said she was either with ABC or NBC, but they were like, the guy said, I heard you talking. He said 45 minutes, this will happen, and here you are. And like, they're staging the events, they're making things happen. So the press, I mean, at the end of the day, the people who are becoming the press are the people who are out there with their phones.
Yes.
Videos and submitting those videos because the actual press, the one that we talk about all the time, stream media, have all been compromised. I don't want anyone to miss that. Every one of those places have been compromised. Every one of them have hired people from Rupert Murdoch's organizations, and they've hired them in executive positions. So they're controlling what comes out. They're controlling and suppressing whatever. They're controlling exactly what you see. So yeah, the one in LA, and it's interesting because some of the people who look like LA police are not just LA police either.
Yes.
They are a part of ICE, but they have on uniforms. And I saw that yesterday, uniforms that look just like LA police uniforms.
Yeah, because they're not. Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
a good point. A lot of the people, I mean, I should say not a lot. Some of the people
Some
are.
of them, yeah.
They look like LA police, but they're
Right.
not LA police.
Right. And
Because
then,
remember, the chief of the LA police said that they didn't want the National Guard. They don't need the National Guard. They don't need the Marines. They don't need any of it. They said we do not, and they said we have protocol. If something escalates, we call out more people, and if it escalates beyond that, then we call the adjacent counties to bring in people from there. And then if that's out of control, then you would call in the National Guard.
right.
So
and
it's
you
protocol.
know, LA police have quite the reputation over.
But they got a
over
bad
time, right?
reputation too.
They
Yes.
have a reputation for.
They do got some
they
bad
do.
apples.
The ones riding on the horses clearly are them, and they.
Yeah, they were. That was clearly.
So what control does the mayor have over that? Like, I know she's talking about curfew. What are you saying to your officers? What is that briefing looking like? Because I think it's incumbent upon these local government agencies not to try to show I can be cruel too,
Yeah.
but to show that they can help maintain the peace at the same time. Because right now it's like, how cruel can we be? You know, how we can have horses step all over a human being, how we can do all these things. It's so they have to rise to a different occasion, you know, and that's what you're seeing. I see Lisa talked about the black CNN reporter who was escorted out. He and his crew were escorted out, had his hands behind his back, and told not to return. Who can tell a press member not to return?
They use the what do you call it, the nylon straps, and you know.
And why was that necessary? Why was it
necessary
to put him in the zip tie?
Yeah, the zip ties.
That was crazy.
It's all, but it's all for the narrative.
Yeah,
it's all for the Trump narrative. Now, speaking of the Trump narrative, I'm not going to show the footage because it just makes me angry. And also because it is Trump, and I don't want to show him off any more than we have to talk about.
Absolutely.
Him. I think it was Fort Dix. Was it Fort Dix where they had the
Bragg? It might have been.
It was a Bragg. It was Bragg. Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg. And what they ended up doing was hand selecting people that were in this. They staged the whole thing.
Yeah.
And what was first of all, using military for a political arena is against the rule of what we do here in America.
Right. That's what
now,
we used
to. It was so Hitler-like, and what I mean by this is that you had him spewing out lies, just spewing out lies, and then degrading a president, degrading and just tearing down Biden and ripping into him as, oh, he did that, and you know.
Yeah.
And what was scary, the people, the young folks, these are young military folks that cheered him on. When he talked about transgenders, they cheered him on. When they talked about they belittled the humanity of the people in LA and the governor of LA, and they cheered him on. This people think back to history. History is our ruler. They that do not know their history are doomed to what? Repeat
itself, yes.
Right? So you look at that footage and you think back to Hitler with his young recruits and how they cheered him on and how they thought he was right. And that but again, there's a psychological warfare that's going on. That all these young people are going to, hold on a second, trucks coming by.
I hear
this is my life in New York every 15, 20 minutes. Another reason why I got to get out of here. This will not be happening in Namibia. It will not happen. But you think about, and then after World War II, all those young people became young adults.
Right.
And some of them went to prison. Some of them went to jail. Some of them were tried. And they say we were just following orders. Because at the end of the day, Trump will not always be here.
Right.
One of these days, he's old. He already has signs of all kinds of health problems. Doctors psychologically have weighed in. I mean, this man's not going to be around for long. And if you think, these people think that they are going to get away with it, these police officers, these people that say, oh, Trump will pardon us, we won't pay for this. There will be a day that people are going to pay for their decision to follow this man. If it takes 50 years, they will go to jail. How many times we've seen that 90-year-old man that was sitting in his living room, and then the police show up and say, Mr. Nazi, we're taking you in. You killed all these people.
Yeah, they were fine, but so going back to the military people on the base, right?
Yes.
So they're in the military, that's their job, that's their income. And some of them, at one point, they did kind of boo him in the beginning, but they know they can't. They know they have to sit there. They know they have to clap. They know all of these things. I mean, and he's obsessed with crowds. Oh, I don't believe Biden would have had this crowd. Of course he would have, because he would have been the commander-in-chief. Let's not even play that game.
Yes, right.
Commander-in-chief comes to the base, all of them gonna show up. That's just how it is.
Right. You have to.
And they have to keep seeing images of the young ones, people who are uncomfortable with this, but don't feel safe enough in there to express that.
Yeah.
Have to keep watching these images of the people who in the past have stepped away from those that being in the military because they did not agree with what was going on. And they see there are lots of videos circulating about that. Some of them who were put in a brig during the time because they refused to go to war. And so there were people other than Muhammad Ali who did not do it. There were people who were in the military who absolutely refused to fight. And there's some young people now who probably are weighing that. Would I leave? Would I stay? What would I do? And some of them will probably get out because of that. So I think, just watching that and knowing the pressure that they're put on sitting in those spaces too. And knowing that, a lot of them in there are in there because they believe that stuff, just like in the police offices. And we have police here in DC who have the tattoos of white hate groups.
Yes.
Want to work in our emergency system so that they can do harm with people. And some of them, they know that. They're coming from Pennsylvania. They're coming from outside of D.C. And, of course, they always cry, the white people aren't getting, promoted and everything. But this is a majority Black city. So I think Black representation needs to be in there someplace. Not that it's always effective. But I think that's the part that they have to deal with. And the fact that what he was doing, he went there for, was to change all of those bases back to Confederate names.
The Confederate names. Yes.
We just have to figure that the thing that we have to do is ignore that, because that's to try to get us to say something. And my thing is, don't say anything. Yeah. I think the quieter you are on the stuff that he tries to do to outrage
you up,
the quieter you are, the more challenging it is for them. Because if you don't hop on that and you hop on what is happening, what they're doing, like today, they tried, them trying to go to the Supreme Court to say they could arrest anyone at any time for anything and send them to any prison in the world. And the court said that's out of their jurisdiction. So, which rightfully so, they should have said no to that. But the fact that the lawyers are doing that in there, and that's a part of the distraction too. So you don't know all of the things too that cases that are being put before this Supreme Court, with those 6 justices who have done already a tremendous amount of damage. Yep. As you all know, my work of art is not behind me now, but but it's because of them. It's because of them we're in this situation at all. They're them deciding not to follow the Constitution. And I think
Yes.
people need to keep saying that. I don't
It's the
hear people
Supreme
saying it
Court.
enough. That the ultimate thing was the Supreme Court when they decided not to uphold the Constitution.
Yes, right.
And acknowledge the fact that he was a part of an insurrection. And I saw Lisa posted. He said he didn't respond because they didn't call. Yes, they did. They called. I live in D.C. and some things that we got from our local news that you all people may not have heard nationally. But the mayor of D.C. asked him about bringing in the National Guard. So that the state of Maryland and Virginia. It took him 3 hours to decide to respond to their request. So he's lying, and he was watching it in the what they call it the room. It's not, they don't call it the war room, but they call it that room. He was watching it all unfold on camera.
Yes.
And wanted to go down there himself if he could, but then his driver, the people told him no, they wouldn't. The Secret Service told him no, they wouldn't take him there. But he knew full well Pelosi reached out. They all reached out to him to bring in the National Guard, and because that part of DC it's like the federal center, and he didn't agree to do it, and he would not call them in, so that's why they didn't come in.
And the sad thing, crazy. I mean, I hate using. I'm trying to get out of the words of saying crazy. The insanity of it all. There you go. That's the insanity of it all is that ICE goes into these areas around the country, stirs up trouble, taking people off the street, in a Home Depot, wherever they are.
Mm-hmm.
People stand up for that person, like in Massachusetts, and all these, like I said, all these places. And no more than 100 people show up, let's say.
Right.
You had no more than 100 people showing up to any of these ICE situations. You call the National Guard. Make that make sense. And not only that, the Marines.
We still have to go back to the ultimate purpose.
But did nothing on January 6th.
And it still is, first of all, it was distraction away from the whole
distraction
all
from
of the stuff that his friend was spewing
exactly
out because he was upset, and the whole Epstein stuff.
Distractions.
So it distracted everybody from all of that, right? So a distraction, but it's also those of us who looked at Project 2025. They want to try to be able to invoke martial law.
That's what they want.
And nothing is happening enough for them to be able to do it.
Yes.
And so, but the problem is him. So he's so insecure. And as I said it before, they're so insecure. These are mediocre, insecure people. And the only way they think is to try to show their force, where if he had to go in there and show up, he couldn't show up. He's not going to do anything. He claimed bone spurs to keep out of the military.
Yes.
And then to go in front of people that you have talked about and said when they get injured or they get caught, how weak they are, and all of these, he talks about all of those things. I could never celebrate him as a military person, but I've never been a military person. And so we just have to try to make sure that we attention to the people who are everyday people who are posting, because they're making sure what it looks like. You got to watch Keith Boykin so that you see what's actually happening on the grounds in LA.
Yes.
So that you see that those crowds are not like that. And then the fact that they're out in California chasing people through strawberry patches. Like, what is wrong? Yeah. Who's going to pick those strawberries?
No one's picking those strawberries. But on the last note, our last subject for today, I thought this would be a good way to close. But it is the speech from Tyler Perry, delivers powerful speech at the BET Awards. And really, really nails it. And I always thought I think we should listen to it. So let me get to that speech. Here we go. Let's pop this on the screen real quick. And I thought it was very insightful. Well done. Well done, Mr. Tyler Perry. And here we go. And there you have it. There was another speech as well.
I thought the most powerful speech was Doechii. Tyler Perry, you know, he made sure and it was interesting the difference in the response from the audience for his speech as opposed to when she spoke, because a lot of those people sitting in that room, I want us to hear this real clear, voted for this person.
Yes.
You honored people who danced for him. You honored people who promoted him. They were on those stages. And I think we spend so much time that we don't call people out. Like, why were you honoring certain people on that stage after they lambasted other celebrities and said, oh, if they show up, we're going to see who's going to be Stephen Fetcher. We're going to see who's going to do it. And then you're the one that showed. And yet this organization decides to honor you as one of their vanguards. I think that we have to think about that. When I saw that person pop on the stage, I turned my TV. I wasn't really watching it, but when I saw it, I was like, there's no way I would watch him talk or see him get an honor. And if y'all don't know who I'm talking about Snoop Dogg. But anyway, but I was like, here we are as an organization, this organization celebrating someone who went up there for whatever reason he went to dance for this man. And I think that's something, but I do believe, I thought Doechie's speech was so powerful. And I thought she was brave to do it because in that industry, they tend to blackball people.
I'm going to look for her speech right now.
Yeah, Lisa, I don't let my word overcome my faith. I put faith in front of fear all the time. That's what we all have to do. Understand that we can't sit in fear at all.
Yes. Okay, I think I have it for you guys. I think I have it for you all. And let's see, not the New York Times. Let's go with is it gonna be here? Hold on a second. Okay, I think we got it. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. Come on, computer's a little slow. What's happening? Okay, give me one moment, y'all. Okay, let's see here. Let's get that up on the screen now. Okay. Gotta go a different route.
Yeah.
I'm on another one. I saw it on MSNBC, so I'm gonna pop on and see. Hope this works out for you guys. There you go. Okay, there you have it. And it's just really good to see people standing up, and a lot of people are taking a stand. And so I am just like, okay, go for it, because we have if every person uses their platform, no matter how small it is or how big it is, that's voices meeting other voices, other ears that are going to hear. They're going to create more voices. So we all have a responsibility in saving democracy, holding on to democracy. It can only be done if all of us are participating in whatever way, whatever that looks like. But if we have a platform, use your platform to have a voice. The sirens are going again, right? Lisa says it's decoration.
So Lisa asked me, can I say my site? It's living life, not just existing.
Living life and not just existing.
Living, not just existing.
And this is your YouTube, right?
No, that's where you can buy the hat. She asked me about my hat.
Oh, your hat. Okay, gotcha. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying out there. Lee says, I know he's lying, but I'm saying either way, he didn't send help. But absolutely no one called the help in LA, but he sent them. And I see here also, Lisa says, I'm literally not comfortable with my son going into the city now. They could scoop him up, and he's a citizen. We need to realize they are picking us up too, not just Spanish-speaking folks. Lisa says, Lisa, that is exactly the problem. No one is calling him out for his lies. Lisa says also, the most powerful speech for me was Doechii. And Mimi says, that's right. That's right. Mimi says again, yes. And Doji is young and they are listening to her. And Lisa says, don't let your worry be greater than your faith. I love that. That's a good statement. Okay, guys, that's it. We're out of here. Elise, could you give people your YouTube channel so they can follow your YouTube channel?
So if you if you look at my name, Elise Stallworth, it'll pop up.
Yes. So make sure you just put her name in there, which is right there on the screen. And you can also sign up and subscribe to her channel. She's always here giving us great wisdom, but she is giving wisdom on her platform. And she's sharing art and all the good stuff out there. So Elise has now stepped into the YouTube world. And
I'm getting there.
Yeah. So support her.
I'm gonna say bye. My first cake is coming out of the oven.
And Janice says, hit the likes. Make sure y'all hit the likes. Yes, the algorithms know that we are here by hitting those likes. And gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Okay, that's it, guys. I am going to get back to getting this house together. I have a photo event tonight to shoot, a big event here in Gramercy Park area. So it's going to be a big night. I got to get my black shirt and black, not tie. I think I'll have to wear a tie tonight, but I got to look good and get ready for tonight's event. I'll be photographing it tonight. So guys, have a great evening. Have a great day. Get out there, go to the beach. It's going to be 90 degrees here in New York today. It's a hot one, but it's not as humid, but it's just going to be hot. So get out there, enjoy it here in New York. And if you, wherever you are around the country, have some fun. Take some time out for you. Love ya. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.